Media playback is unsupported on your device. Media caption: Police and supporters of defeated opposition candidate Raila Odinga confront each other in Mathare. Kenya's opposition has accused the government of state terror and vowed to overturn a sham result. Senior opposition official James Orengo said they would not go to court to achieve this. He urged people to stay calm and out of harm's way. Mr. Orengo alleged that about 100 people had been killed by the Kenyan security forces but did not offer evidence. Official results gave President Uhuru Kenyatta 54.3%. His challenger Raila Odinga called the election a charade. They knew they were going to steal an election. They knew the people would be unhappy. Therefore all the instruments of violence were put in place, Mr. Orengo said. The Kenya National Commission on Human Rights (KNCHR) meanwhile said 24 people had been shot dead by police during protests. Hope for a return to normality. BBC's Alistair Lighthead in Nairobi. What Kenya needs right now is strong leadership. For the government side, that means ensuring security forces don't use excessive force while containing protest. The opposition National Super Alliance needs to send a clear message to the supporters not to use violence. But in a media conference lacking the most senior alliance leaders, they said only that people should stay out of harm's way. They seem lacking in direction and united only by the statement, "We will not be cowed. We will not relent." They still do not accept the results of the election, but have not yet provided strong evidence for why they believe the elections was rigged, or for the large number of people they claim have been killed. The clashes are intense but isolated. There is nothing like the level of anger and violence that sparked the killings 10 years ago, and many Kenyans hope they can return to normal life as soon as possible. The victims included a 9-year-old girl hit by a stray bullet in a Nairobi's Mathare slum. A man was also killed in Kisumu County, an opposition stronghold and the center of post-election ethnic violence in 2007, when 1,200 people died and 600,000 were displaced. Media playback is unsupported on your device. Media caption: The BBC's Emmanuel Igunza says there is an uneasy calm in Kisumu. Earlier the elections observation group Airlog, which had 8,300 observers, said its projected outcome put Mr. Kenyatta on 54%, just short of the official figure of 54.3%, but Mr. Orengo questioned Airlog's independence. Kenya's acting Interior Minister Fred Matiang'i has urged people to return to their normal lives and called for Kenyans to use social media responsibly. Mr. Matiang'i said most areas were calm but there had been some violence which he blamed on criminals. Image caption: Opposition supporters have been confronting police in Nairobi's Mathare slum. Image caption: Violence also broke out in Kibera slum. Mr. Kenyatta has urged peace. We have seen the results of political violence. And I'm certain that there is no single Kenyan who would wish for us to go back to this, he said. Ahead of the results, Mr. Odinga had called on his supporters to remain calm, but added that he did not control anyone and that people want to see justice. Rights group Amnesty International has called for the Kenyan authorities to investigate the killings. Kenyan media reacts: BBC monitoring all major newspapers in Kenya agreed that the president's first duty should be to heal the divisions that were exposed during the election. The Star newspaper said the extent of Mr. Kenyatta's victory was surprising, even shocking, but we should accept it and move on. Kenya deserves peace and development. On local radio, pro-ruling party stations hosted jubilant callers. On Radio Namlolwa, which broadcasts to opposition areas, a caller spoke of heartbreaking scenes where protests had turned violent, saying, "Let us desist from violence and preach peace." Ramogi FM radio, which broadcasts in the Luo language of defeated candidate Raila Odinga, played gospel music, a break from the usual Saturday discussion programs.